Meet the BMW F800GS. Undoubtedly you know its huge sibling, the R1200GS Adventure, as made famous by Sir Ewan McBorman, or hundreds of his stand-ins traveling the Yukon in the summer.
Because it's following in the footsteps of the R1200GS, it has mighty big hobnail hiking boots to fill.
Which begs the question, is it a rightful heir to the GS name? And we're off to a good start because BMW has given the F800GS the right bits for the job. There's a 21-inch front tire tied to spoked rims, beefy upside-down forks, a chain final drive so there's no heavy shaft or fragile belt, a light and narrow 798cc parallel twin engine, developing 85 horsepower, 62 pound-feet of torque, and a flatulent exhaust note. So it sounds like a GS, and looks like one too.
It still has the squinty GS headlight array, so let's just call that Bill the Cat chic.
Ack! And being a GS, it has an option list so long it even includes an old guy telling BMW stories.
Big, huge thing. They didn't believe that I crossed the country.
So needless to say, we were looking forward to taking the F800GS on an adventure.
And we booked it in as soon as we could.
Yes, we've had to make do with testing the GS during winter in Vancouver.
And then the snow stopped being part of the background. So, if you can't beat winter, you may as well embrace it, once the road's clear. And on the west coast, that means skiing. In Whistler. Luckily, there's more salt on the roads than a McDonald's ingredients list. And while I'm freezing, I have time to contemplate the F800GS. On dirt, the big diameter 21-inch front tire feels stable. On the road, it's a little vague. But this is an adventure bike, so there's going to be some compromises. The engine has more than enough punt, and is relatively smooth until about 120 kph, where it develops a wearying vibe. Then there's the windscreen, which for taller riders generates a fair amount of buffeting. But the ergonomics are upright and relaxed and easy to get along with, and the long travel suspension is a boon on BC's well-maintained roads. Though the narrow seat will periodically have you stretching, so in terms of comfort it'll never replace the R1200GS for the well-financed continent crosser, but it is an option for the rest of us. And the F800GS has a confidence-inspiring enthusiasm to it. Not unstoppable in the face of some obstacles, though. Unfortunately, by the time I reach Whistler, the ski day is pretty much done. So that just leaves poking around this winter wonderland. And that's enough of that. Despite an abrupt initial throttle response, the slick as ice shifting, and easygoing power delivery keep things smooth and manageable. On roads covered with sand, gravel, and even a bit of frost in the shade. If you do go for a winter ride, the one thing you don't want to have happen is the temperature dropping overnight. But to be a proper GS, the F800 will need to cope with unexpected road conditions.
It's a bit slick. This is giving new meaning to picking your line.
So excuse me as an ice-riding neophyte for not dropping the hammer. Or the bike. This does bring home how remarkably well-balanced the F800GS is.
Thank God.
On dirt, there are a couple points to consider. The F800GS has an Everest tall first gear, so on downhills it can get carried away with itself, if you're relying on engine braking. Then there's the stock tires, On-road, they're a great grippy match for the bike, wet or dry. Off-road, they pack up with mud, transforming the Bridgestone Battle Wings into Death Wings.
I want knobbies!
Here's the thing though, on dirt, the F800GS has a clear advantage over the bigger bike.
The F800GS is smaller, lighter, more manageable.
And there is one other benefit.
It's hugely more affordable than its bigger sibling.
So you won't feel as bad if you drop it.
In the end, I quite adore the BMW F800GS. I love its easy-riding nature. I love that it lets you push your personal limits without scaring the holy bejesus out of you.
I love that it completely dismisses concerns about road conditions.
And I love the fact it's a full and proper GS, making it a small adventure, ready for the big one. Tierra del Fuego, anyone?
So you could call it Mini GS, Mr. Powers.